welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Nisha. If you guys are returning subby, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. On today's video, we are going to be doing a story time on a life-changing event that happened to us just 2 weeks ago. And I wanted to share it with you guys. Before I do get into this video, I want you to know that not just this event, but just everything that has been transpiring. I think I went and I sought counsel, professional counsel. So I am now in therapy, which that's a whole nother video, but it was just tragic to me. Like, it wasn't a tragedy like it could have been, but it was a life-changing moment. So yeah, so if you guys want to hear the story, then make sure that you guys, it's kind of weird even talking about it, make sure that you guys bear with me, okay? Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, subscribe to my channel. I post motherhood and lifestyle inspirational content, so if that is something that you guys are interested in, then let's get started. So like I said, this happened about 2 weeks ago. What happened was, we woke up on Saturday and I got a FaceTime from my brother, and he was like, oh, it's a nice day outside, which it was 80 degrees, perfect weather, not too hot, not too cold, just perfect weather, like 76 to 80 degrees. He was like, we should go ride bikes at the beach. And I was just like, you know what, I just woke up and I was just thinking that. And we were talking about it because we were like, oh, we should get more active. And generally, Tayari and I go to Newport Beach, which is in Orange County, to ride bikes on the boardwalk. So Tamir has his own bike, and generally they don't, well, I don't know if they have bikes with training wheels. I know they do be having kids. I know they have kids bikes, but I'm not sure about the training wheels. So my first mind was telling me, Tamir he's not a good listener. Maybe we shouldn't take the bike. But then he kept saying, oh, mommy, I listen. So I'm just like, okay, we're going to take the bikes. So we pack up the car, get the car ready for just in case we got into the water or if we just rode the bikes. So I text my brother and we're like, okay, we're going to meet up. So when we get there, we both kind of get to the Newport Beach area right before you get to the Pacific Coast Highway 1, where you can either go to Huntington Beach or you can go to Newport Beach. So we decide to go, so it's like super traffic. Like, I've never seen so much traffic at the beach in January. I understand it's a Saturday, but oh my God. So I was just like, let's just go ahead and go to the right and go to Huntington. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Huntington Beach, it's a popular beach, 1. 2, it's where you can have like bonfires and RV parking as well. Generally, Newport Beach is a little more private, a little bit more smaller, but Huntington is like, I don't know if it's a regional beach. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but it's a bigger, more active beach. So we park and we're trying to go find bikes. So originally the plan was for us all to get individual bikes and then for me to get the baby bike in the back. So Tamir can ride in between us and Tasai can be in the back with me. Tayari can be on his own bike, Tamir's on his own bike, and then my brother and his girlfriend's on their bike. So unfortunately, when we get to the window, they say they don't have any of the bikes for the baby. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We'll just do the double bikes. My brother and them were going to do the single bikes, but his girlfriend was kind of rusty on riding a bike, so they agreed to also do double bikes. So we both did double bikes, and as we were sitting waiting for them to exchange their single bikes, I had this thought, and looking back on it, I should have followed my first line. I was like, oh, me and Sabrina could have did the double bikes with the baby, and then Tay and Robert could have did the double bikes with Tamir. But okay, I'm just like, all right, let's just ride. So we start riding, and they mentioned, we want to grab some food. So I'll insert a couple of clips. So we went and we got some ices, and we're sitting down, and we're like, oh, we're ready to ride our bikes. We're excited to be at the beach. It's beautiful weather. So we start paddling. Going towards the pier. Tamir, so it starts off with my brother and his girlfriend. Tamir's behind them, and then me and Tay. So we're watching and we're paddling. We're like, Tamir, slow down, Tamir. So Tamir is like, he's paddling consistently, but he's like zooming past people. And the pier was so packed that it was like so many people. It was like we were weaving in and out of people. Like people were on skates, on scooters, on the double bikes, all, you know, everything. Even with COVID, people had their mask on, but it still was pretty wild. We had our mask. So Tayari hops off of the double bike and runs and gets Tamir. So we're like, Tamir, you gotta slow down. Like, it's too many people. Like, you're moving too fast, right? So we stop and we kind of regroup. And again, third time, the Lord was just trying to get my attention, and here I am trying to be top flight mom of the world. I was thinking we should put Tamir on the front and then hook his bike on the back somehow and just go back, because it was almost time. By this time it was like 4:45-ish. The sun was about to set, 1, and then 2, we had to turn the bikes back in at 5:30. So we weren't able to do too much, but you know, whatever. We just wanted to ride bikes up and down the boardwalk just to get out of the house and just to enjoy, you know, the beautiful weather, as did everybody else in California. So this is where things get a little bit emotional for me. Okay, so we get back on the bikes, and we tell Tamir, don't ride off, like, listen to mommy and daddy. And he's like, I listening, mommy, I listening. So we're riding. So Tamir's in front of us, and then my brother and his girlfriend. So as we're paddling, we're like, Tamir, and I notice he's like picking up speed. So he's going faster, and I'm like, Tamir, slow down. But because we're on the 2 bikes and we're trying to paddle, it's not like paddling a regular bike. You know, you got to kind of like try to paddle real fast. So we're trying to paddle faster to get to him, but it's like the more we paddle, the further he gets. So me and Tayari's like, well, let me switch so I can control it. So we switch, and Tamir's paddling, but it's like he's getting further up. So at this time, it's like people are coming off the beach, and it's like they're coming across the boardwalk. So I'm like, Tayari, hop off so you can get him. So Tayari hops off, and I see him, but it's like he's getting further where I can't see him in my vision. Like, and he has a helmet that has a like a mohawk, right? So you can see it over people. So I look down, I'm still paddling, and I'm like, Tayari, did you get the baby? And he's like, I don't see Tamir. What do you mean you don't see Tamir? And he's just like, I don't see him, babe. And I'm like, well, keep running, you know, keep going. So my brother's coming around the bend, and I hop off the bike, and I'm like, Robert, stay with Tasai. Let me go get Tayari. Doesn't see Tamir. So he's like, what? I'm like, just stay with my baby. I'll be back. So I'm running. I'm a plus size girl. I'm out of shape. So like I'm running, and I'm like yelling, Tamir, but we do not see him like at all. Like by this time he was gone. So I'm running, and my first thought of mind is, I can't get to him faster, but if I have a bike, I can get to him. So I'm running, and I see these bikes on the side, and it's a Hispanic family sitting on the beach, and I just seen the black and pink bike, and I grabbed the bike, and the lady's like, excuse me, that's our bike. And I'm just like, I just need it really quick. I gotta find my son. I can't find my son. And and he's like, okay, I'll go with you. So I'm sure. So he's like, what is your son's name? You know, he's asking me other questions, and I'm like, his name is Tamir. He's 4. He has a mohawk helmet on. I was like, his bike is yellow and orange, and he was riding this way on the boardwalk. So I'm paddling, and I'm yelling, and I'm like, Tamir, somebody help me find my son. Like, somebody call the police. Like, and all these people were passing me on this side of the boardwalk, and they were like looking at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, help, somebody help me. Like, I can't find my son. And it's like the more I paddle, like Robert is calling me, Tayari's calling me, and Tayari's like, I don't see him. So by this time, we're passing Tay, and Tay's like, I'm gonna go and see if he got off the bike and went to the basketball courts. So we passed Tay, and I'm yelling, and I'm like, I'm telling Robert, like, we can't find Tamir. Like, I'm about to die. I can't find my son. Like, I cannot find my son. So I'm paddling, and I'm like, Tamir. And the man's bike that I stole, his name is, borrowed. His name is Rudy. Rudy, if you ever see this video, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Like, thank you. I'm paddling on the bike, and there's some kids, and I'm like, did you guys see a boy going by with a mohawk bike, and mohawk? And he's like, oh, I seen him that way. So I'm still paddling. I'm paddling, but it's like I'm running out of breath. I'm paddling. I'm yelling, and I'm just like, somebody help me. Like, help me find my son. Help me find my son. I'm like, I can't find my son. And I see this older white man, and I'm like, have you seen a boy? His name is Tamir. He's 4. He doesn't know how to swim. Like, he was paddling this way on the boardwalk, and he's like, oh, I just seen him. So him and Rudy ride off, and they're like, I'm gonna get him. And so I'm like trying to paddle. 5 minutes go by, and they find him, and he's crying, and I grab him, and we literally fall to the floor. I scrape my leg. And I'm like, Tamir, where were you going? And if you guys are new here, like, Tamir has a speech delay, so he can't articulate 100%. But he was just like, I look for mommy. Like, mommy went that way. And I'm like, no, mommy was behind you. Like, mommy was trying to find you. And I don't think he really realized that he was missing. But then, like, a lifeguard came up to us and was just like, is this Zamir? And I'm like, no, Tamir. And I'm just like, this is him. I found him. My husband had called the police. Like, we had to do a report, and it was just like literally the most terrifying moment of my life, because number one, looking back on it, it felt like a movie, like it wasn't real. And then just to think anything could happen, like we had got so far down to almost where the bridge between Huntington and Newport meets. So when we were walking back, by this time it was dark, and they had started lighting the bonfire, so it looked so smoggy and so smoky, and it was just like, it took us so long to get back to Tay and the police, but it was just like, it literally felt like my heart, it felt like my heart was like, I don't know how to explain it, but I literally just imagine him being gone. Like, to not see him, to not know if he had got off of the bike, if he went to the water, if he went to, like, if somebody had taken him in their RV. Like, there were so many people, and the hardest part was just like how people were just looking at me like they didn't hear me yelling, saying, help me, like, help me, we need help, like, I cannot find my son. And I'm just like, my son, like, I cannot find him. And if you're a parent out there, I would just like, and I've always prided myself on being the helicopter mom. And, you know, I feel like I had so many signs, like God was telling me not to let this boy get on his bike by himself. And I just was trying to be like, okay, let me see if he can ride, you know? But yeah, so this happened like over like a 45 minute situation. And Rudy the man was so helpful. Fix your shirt. He has said something like this had happened similar to, I was so thankful for Rudy, first of all, for Jesus just helping us get him back, and then to the two men, the other man, after he came, I don't know where he went. And you know, the word says we entertain angels unaware, so I feel like he was sent there just for that purpose, to help us get Tamir. And the man Rudy was saying as we were walking back, because I was crying, and I was like, I promise you, sir, I was going to bring your bike back. I just didn't know what else to do. And I just knew I couldn't get to him fast enough with my feet. And I needed, you know, help. And he was just like, you know, something like this similar happened to my family a year ago. And he was just like, it happened to his 3-year-old daughter. And he was telling me, you know, he had 4 daughters, and you know, all this stuff. And he was just like, I understand. And I'm like, I'm so sorry for taking your bike. Like, I really was going to bring it back. So we kind of laughed about that. But he was truly God sent. I feel like God had them right there to be able to, you know, for us to get him. If you guys are parents out there, I would just say, make sure that you guys keep a watch out on your kids. My plan is to get Tamir either like a watch or like a necklace or something that has who he is, like his identity, my husband and I's phone number, a picture of him or something, because, you know, at this age, it's like, there's no way of, I hate to say, it sounds so sad, like, there's no way of identifying or you know, if something like this happened, like, you know, and it happened literally like this, like literally he was right there, and he just kept paddling, and like I said, I don't even think he really realized he just was paddling, 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 and paddling. So it was so traumatizing for me, because even after, on the drive home, I was crying, and just even that night, just, you know, just thinking of all the horrible things, and just imagining leaving the beach without my son. Like, I just, who would have thought, you know, we woke up that day anticipating to have a great day at the beach, and for it to go so left, to the police, to the lifeguards, to the man Rudy having to like leave his family. His wife was so understanding. I just, you know, I just thank God that we got him, that he's alive, he's well, he's unharmed. But trust and believe, we're not going back to the beach anytime soon. And I love the beach, but I told my husband, I was like, we're not going back. But I've since explained to him, like, Tamir, you can't do that, baby. And I don't know, I just felt the way I just really, literally, it scared me to think, like, if you guys hear, they're yelling at each other. Just scared me to think, like, I came with him and I could have left without him. Like, I wouldn't wish that on any parent. And it just hurt me to think, like, there are some parents who never found their kids again, you know? And it just was a lot. But I just want to share our experience and be transparent, because that also was something that I was wrestling with. And I had talked to my therapist about it, and I was telling her I wasn't sure if I wanted to if I could share it with my platform, because I didn't want to feel like, oh, a bad parent, because I feel like I already beat myself up enough for it, you know. And again, it was something so small, but literally could have been the end. But I'm just thankful, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that, you know, you guys learned something, and that you guys let me know if you know of any, like, you know, like kid safety, like maybe watches or something. I'm gonna look on Amazon too. So yeah, I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.